Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Are
hear you.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah. You said one time you said higher power is looking for everything, no? Something like this.
Hmm.
But I think only for the enlightened guy, no?
No, for everybody.
I can't see that.
Not everybody pays attention to that. Actually, in reality, consciousness doesn't do anything. Consciousness just is. We arise as ego. And as ego, we manifest all this. It's hard to understand, but let's put it in this way. The higher power is looking after everybody, but it's nobody's looking at the higher power, see, which is the self. Then we put ourselves into troubles, and then we blame the higher power. And then we say, why are you not looking after me? Are you following? Yes or no? Are you following? Can you hear?
I follow. Mentally, I can follow.
So there is a saying in the spiritual realm that God will spoil your plans eh, before your plans spoils your life, your life. Mhm. God will spoil your plans so your plans doesn't spoil your life. Make sense? Do you understand what I mean?
No.
We put ourselves in trouble when we follow one's likes and dislikes. When we follow our own mind, see, desires, tendencies, predispositions, and so on. Hmm? When we just think about satisfying one's ego, see, when we live such an individualistic, egoistic life, hmm? More selfish we become, somehow things become easier. Even if the obstacles that we created from our actions in the past can be either released completely, otherwise, they may be a little bit left, and we may be able to go through it in a sense of equanimity. See? Everybody blames God, but nobody knows if God, the God that they blame, does he actually exist?
No, obviously not.
Obviously not. How do you know? Nobody can say God exists. Nobody can say God does not exist. Because those who says that God does not exist, they don't know that he does not exist. See? Are you following?
Yes.
But we have an idea that God is a person, right? And it isn't, it's just consciousness.
I feel stuck in many things.
Many things means many objects, right? Many desires, many ideas, many likes and dislikes. We are just talking one's prejudices. The only thing that we have to do is pay attention to the I that says that is stocked. I am stocked, right? Don't pay attention to the thought stocked. See, pay attention to the thought I am. See, thought I. That is inquiry.
For example, I'm stuck in my workplace 8 years now.
Yeah. I am stuck in my workplace. I am stuck here too, right? I am stuck to this chair, right? Most surely for the rest of my life. And my life situation is not different than someone else's life situation. It's not a piece of cake. It's not there without obstacles and challenges and, and price and prejudices and gain and loss and pleasure and pain and this and that, right? The question is always the same. Who is this one that says it is going through all that it is experiencing all of it? If people understand what I mean, then ego may disappear, will disappear.
And come back. It will come back, I think.
Huh?
It comes back then. If it's
I don't understand. I'm struggling with the accent.
if it disappear, it will and that is very rarely, then it comes back.
Yes, it comes back. In most of the cases, it comes back. So it has to be merged in its source until it disappears completely. See, to merge it in its source means to keep it completely still, completely quiet. And it disappears means the idea that exists separate from consciousness. In reality, is consciousness. See, if I have in my hand, I don't know, if my hand is full of salt, right? Then from where the salt is coming from? From the sea, right? Yes or no?
Sometimes it comes from the mountain.
No, it is in the mountain because the mountain, the sea level was at that time, and this is salt, this is stock there, crystal rocks and all that stuff. But please try to understand what I'm saying. No need to be clever. Otherwise, you won't understand. The salt, even that salt from the rock is coming from the sea. So, as far as I know. So if I have a handful of salt, this salt came from the sea, but apparently it exists separately, independently from the sea, right? And this salt is so arrogant that says, I am here all by myself. I am a separate, independent, autonomous individual salt, right? There is no sea. See, the sea doesn't exist. Can you believe that? Wouldn't you laugh about the salt? Huh? Now, if I take the salt and I throw it back into the sea, what happened to the salt? Does it disappear or it dissolves in the sea? It dissolves in the sea. It doesn't disappear. It dissolves in the sea. When it dissolves in the sea, the idea that that exists separately from the sea disappears. Therefore, it is the sea. Make sense to you?
Yes.
Mm.
It's an analogy, maybe.
Yeah, but this is an analogy to describe a fact. We are the salt and we are the sea. We believe that we are only the salt. That's the problem. This is your son, Luffy. He jumped on the table and I was engaged in a conversation and he destroys that. Is that important? No, that's good. Sorry, the cat just broke something. So how the salt ego dissolve into the sea consciousness? By keeping it completely and absolutely quiet, still. Yellow, you can put the aubergines in the oven. No, leave it like that. When the ego is completely still, then it's not even merging in the source, it's always in the source. It appears that it is not, that it is outside, that it is separate, as it is different. When it keeps still, it gives the impression that that sinks into, I don't know, into silence, right? And then we become aware of the fact that that silence is not empty, it's not dead, it is alive, it is conscious because it is consciousness. It's very weird to talk to somebody, to you without the camera because I don't know if you are listening or not. Oh, there you are. So this is so important to understand. No? These words are not empty words. These concepts are not mere concepts, right? For the listener, it's a concept, an idea, or a belief. But for us, so to speak, us, it is a fact. We are describing a fact, right? It is one's direct experience, right? Moment by moment. Why the ego cannot keep still? Because it's always paying attention to something else that the ego believes to be different from itself, separate from itself, right? Outside, apart from itself. You know?
Yeah, how long can one sit in silence?
Sorry?
Half an hour? How long can I sit in silence? Half an hour, and then
As
attention will go.
for the sense of separation to disappear. Once the sense of separation disappears, then you can think, you can talk, you can walk, you can work, you can live a life free from the ego sense, free from the idea of having separate, independent existence. It's not, it will not be like, I am not separate from consciousness. I am consciousness itself, right? So we have to have this determination, right? And don't give up. It's up to us. It's not to anybody else. It depends upon how tired I am of this world or how much I became aware of the fact that from sensory perception, I will get only temporary sensations, right? That we like to call it experiences. It's just sensation, it's just perception, which is always pleasure and pain. From this world, there is nothing but pleasure and pain. I'm not saying it's bad or that it is wrong, but unfortunately, what we call pleasure, okay, it's described level as good, right? And then we are always in a pursuit of pleasure, right? Always trying to give continuity to our experiences. Experiences means the past, what I remember. I want more of the same thing. And I will organize and build my life in a way that I can have all these experiences all the time. And if I can have more of them and repeat more of them for many times, and then I will be happy, right? So this is a wrong thinking. Happiness depends upon an object or a person if there is any difference, right? So pleasure is good, pain is bad. Nobody can avoid pain in this life. In one way or another, pain will appear and uncomfortable circumstances may appear, difficult circumstances may appear, challenging or dangerous circumstances may appear, right? So pleasant circumstances may appear. That's the nature of this world. Now we want to avoid the world as it is, and we want a world that we believe is supposed to be. That is the trap. That's a fact for me. Pleasure and pain. And the sage experiences pleasure and pain as everybody else, right? But he knows that it is unavoidable. The so-called enlightened beings experience life like everybody else. Again,
Yes.
pleasure, pain, gain, loss, prize, criticism, all that. Success, failure, same.
But when there's more pain than pleasure.
Yes, but you want more pleasure than pain. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem if you want something different than what it is now. Now, life's supposed to be, this is my idea of life. Life is supposed to be more pleasure than pain, right? And then life will contradict your ideas and you will blame life for your suffering. And your suffering is because your conflict, see, the conflict between your ideas that you identify yourself with, this is me having a problem with life. And then on top of life being uncomfortable, then you add more to the discomfort, which is your emotional, the emotional weight that you add to it.
It is often is the mindset is sabotaging everything.
Then don't let it.
Decision or,
Don't let it.
but
By mind are thoughts, right? Thoughts. This is why we must inquire diligently. Don't let the mind to go too far. See, don't follow the mind means giving attention to it, giving reality to it, meaning by that believing it is real. So you give attention to the thoughts and you believe it is real and you follow it. You give attention to it and then you strengthen those thoughts. Remove the tension. There is a thought and there is an observer of the thought, right? Then remove, bring the attention back to the observer, right? Pay attention to the observer and ignore the thoughts. That's the only way I know, right? And to be honest with you, that's the only way there is, right? So the seer of the mind is the mind. The mind is seeing its own thoughts. Mm. But the seer has to be free from thought, has to remain alone. When it remains alone, then it begins to dissolve in consciousness. If it is moving, it won't, right? It has to remain still. When it is still, then by itself, by its own weight, sinks in its source, meaning by the source consciousness.
seems like a long process.
Yes, but you say that. What do you want? Do you want a magic formula? I'm sorry, it doesn't exist. I don't have it.
This is a long process then.
Long or short, it depends upon how hard or how strong are our tendencies, how deeply rooted they are. Not even in the quantity, but how deeply rooted they are, right? Tendency means what? The urge for an experience under the illusion that that experience, see, that an object will make me happy. You understand that? You must understand that not because I say so. You must understand that only you will understand that only if you begin to realize that what I'm saying is your experience, is everybody else's experiences. It's everybody's tendency. Everybody, only few are not doing it, but most of the people are doing that. If I go there, I will be happy. If I do this, I will be happy. If I get this, I will be happy. If I get rid of that, I will be happy. Right? Then happiness depends upon this or that. Right?
Yeah, for normal people, it is like this.
Yes. So you have to choose. Either you remain like that or you step out of that. Either you stay in that movement or you get out of that movement. The ego movement, out of ego movement. Not even God will decide this for us. Not even God can do anything about it.
But the only time I can, or I think to do this, let's say, practice mostly is in the morning. Huh? Then during the day, it got lost.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. No problem. So here is my advice. Okay. Whenever you have free time, that you really have nothing to do, no responsibility to look after, but really you have free time. Okay. Then sit down and pay attention to yourself, right? When you perform any activity, just pay attention to it, right? Do your best, but don't have any expectations, right? Not even wait for thanks. Just do what you do and forget about it. Do your best, forget about the rest. Do it without the desire of getting something out of it. That doesn't mean that you will not experience the result or you will not see the consequences, right? But don't think about it. Just focus on what you do. The time will come that the current of the inquiry will mix with the current of your actions, right? And the inquiry will go on while you performing your daily duties.
Yeah.
I can only repeat myself infinite amount of times. Yeah. To repeat the same simple, basic knowledge, right? Again and again and again and again.
This is focusing on the I feeling,
And today,
on the I feeling,
if you want to call it feeling, it's okay. It's actually a thought, but
on the I thought.
the knowledge I am, let's call it like that. I know I am. So in this knowledge I am, I remain, right? Or paying attention to what I am, to myself, until you know that this is not yourself. Paying attention to what you believe yourself to be makes what you believe yourself to be disappear in what you really are. Then when this one disappears, the other one reveals itself. Disappears means it merges into your own self, see, your reality, consciousness.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. We have only a few minutes left. Charlotte.
Hi. Um, my question is on what you were saying about God spoiling our plants so the plants won't spoil our life.
Yeah, that's a way of speech. Okay, like
But then if it's true that is true, then if we are God, then that means that we are spoiling our own plants so we can have the time to think about something deeper in our life.
you know you are God, you know that you have no plans, that
Oh,
everything is just a spontaneous movement of mind within consciousness.
so what are we? Just conscious?
Hey, let's put it in this way. How the wake,
Uh-huh.
how the awakened state appears in the morning. Do you make it happen or it just happens spontaneously?
It just happens.
Happens spontaneously, right? Good. When you go
Yes.
to, do you want to dream something in particular or spontaneously dreams just appear? See, all without even knowing it, you are already dreaming.
Yes.
Okay. And at some point, if you are lucky, right, then
Yes.
sleep takes over. Room. So that
Mm-hmm.
appears and disappears is the mind, right? It appears in the awakened state, it appears in the dream state, and it disappears. How do we know that all of that appears and disappears? Because we are present as that which is conscious or aware of what appears and disappears, right?
Okay.
That which is aware or conscious or consciousness or awareness, whatever you like to call it effortlessly exists. Hmm? Consciousness is effortless, and the manifestation
Mm-hmm.
is spontaneous. Consciousness is just consciousness. It's neither doing nor not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being. Means it simply is. And the mind moves spontaneously. So we cannot say that this is doing something or that this is doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
This is why it's so important. Don't believe anything I say, right? See if what I say somehow reflects itself in your own daily experience, in your moment by moment life. Right? The thing is that people haven't bothered to investigate, see, to observe themselves. We quit.
Okay. The mind disappears. Disappears when we wake and when we go to sleep. But even when we're asleep in our dreams, we are conscious of our dreams too. Because when we wake up and remember our dreams, we remember that we were weak or we were conscious of what we were dreaming.
Now,
So it's
are you aware of being that consciousness now? Because if you are, you're enlightened.
I
The idea is,
don't know. It's just,
in the awakened state, become aware of being consciousness.
mhm. Like right now, I'm conscious that I'm awake, and when I'm awake, what should I put importance to? Or nothing is important, or everything is important?
Is English your mother tongue? What is your mother tongue?
I didn't hear that.
Huh?
My mother? What?
What is your mother tongue?
My mother's tongue is English, but I speak English and Spanish.
Tu lengua, tu lengua matriz.
La de mi madre, mía, español e inglés.
Ay, ¿por qué estamos hablando
Bueno, español,
español?
pero porque es que entré tarde y escuché al compañero que estaba hablando inglés y por eso.
Es que a veces me cuesta, me supongo que a la gente que me escucha hablar en inglés le pasa lo mismo. El acento se me hace complicado de entender.
Okay. Sí, entonces, a lo mejor está más claro ya en español.
Claro.
So, cuando estamos despiertos, estamos conscientes que estamos despiertos. Y luego entramos en el sueño y o sea, perdemos la conciencia de alguna manera, pero al despertar volvemos a la conciencia y si nos recordamos de los sueños, yo por lo personal, recuerdo mis sueños y recuerdo que yo estaba consciente en mis sueños.
Sí, pero
Entonces, ¿cuál es la realidad?
en el sueño,
¿La esta?
en el sueño profundo no está ni el sueño ni el
Ajá,
soñador, el que recuerda el sueño. Entonces, lo que tú llamas el
es,
estado consciente, ese que es inconsciente es la mente. La conciencia nunca es inconsciente, por eso se le denomina conciencia. Esa conciencia es permanente. Tú eres la conciencia del que es inconsciente en el sueño profundo. La inconsciencia como tal no existe.
ujú.
Y si hay
So, en mis sueños yo soy consciente.
si hay inconsciencia, ¿cómo sabes que hay inconsciencia? Tiene que haber conciencia de la inconsciencia.
Si hay inconsciencia, ¿cómo sé que hay inconsciencia? Pues la conciencia me dice que hay inconsciencia porque cuando me fui a dormir, mi conciencia, para mi conciencia despierta, desapareció.
Exacto. Por lo tanto, esa conciencia que crees ser que desapareció en el sueño profundo no es real. Esa es la conciencia reflejo o la mente también la puedes llamar.
Ajá,
¿No? Ese ser consciente que aparece en la
ok.
vida y desaparece en el sueño profundo es la mente. Ahora,
Oh,
claro, porque
ujú,
si ese ser consciente está ausente, entonces tiene que haber una conciencia de la ausencia de ese ser consciente.
mm,
Y obviamente tú debes ser esa conciencia, porque tu experiencia te dice, tu conocimiento te dice que si tú dices que no existes en el sueño profundo, ¿cómo sabes que no existes? Aquello que no existe, no puedes saber que no existe.
ujú, sí,
Y para negar que existes, tienes que existir.
eso es, sí,
Entonces, en el sueño profundo, tú existes como conciencia, pero como ego no existes.
porque el ego desaparece cuando duerme.
Correcto, correcto. No eres tú
Pero
quien...
entonces es mi conciencia reflejo. La del sueño es conciencia reflejo.
Correcto, correcto.
Oh, perfecto. Gracias.
Por eso yo insisto, sí, que este conocimiento tal cual tiene que entenderse de manera adecuada. Y realmente se entiende de manera adecuada si yo me observo a mí mismo. Lo que yo estoy diciendo es algo que todo el mundo ya sabe, pero no le ha prestado atención. ¿Sí? Porque está interesado en algo más, en lo que quiere, en lo que no quiere, en lo que le gusta, en lo que no le gusta. ¿Sí? Está interesado en lo que piensa, no en lo que realmente es. ¿En dónde te encuentras ahora? Ah, creo que se te cerró el micrófono.
Ahorita me encuentro, estoy en Estados Unidos,
¿En qué parte?
pero vivo en México regularmente. Ahorita estoy acá en Shasta, no sé si conoce el condado de Shasta,
No,
Shasta,
no.
en California, al norte, donde están las montañas de Shasta. Sí.
Ok. ¿Es la primera vez
Una pregunta, ¿mande?
es la primera vez que participas?
Sí.
Muy bien. ¿Tenías otra pregunta?
Ah, ¿cuál es el propósito de la existencia?
Descubrir que eres conciencia.
Y una vez que descubres que eres conciencia,
La pregunta no surge. ¿Qué
¿y
pasa?
qué haces?
¿Sabes que
Y
eres
vives,
conciencia?
vives,
Cuando sabes que eres consciente, la pregunta acerca de qué pasa después no surge, porque el que pregunta desaparece. Desaparece como yo realmente, como lo que yo soy. Queda ahí como reflejo.
mm,
Cuando, ¿has visto la luna llena durante el día? ¿Ok?
sí, no, bueno, y sí, ocasionalmente,
Ok. Pareciera que quien ilumina la Tierra en la noche es la luna,
es
¿verdad?
la luna.
Correcto. O sea, que es decir, que parece
Ujú,
que quien realmente ilumina el mundo es la luna. En la
eso,
mañana, cuando sale el sol, te das cuenta de que quien realmente ilumina al mundo es el sol.
ujú.
Exactamente igual. La luna queda allí, pero se sabe que no es realmente quien ilumina. La mente queda allí, pero se sabe que no es lo que uno realmente es, que uno realmente es el sol.
Y el sol sabe qué es el sol,
No, no, eso es una analogía.
por eso, pero cuando nosotros, y la conciencia, y sabemos que somos conciencia, ya no nos debemos de preguntar, y solamente vivir el día a día en conciencia y
Eso,
hacer lo que tenemos que hacer.
eso lo dices ahora, ¿sí?
Ah,
Eso lo dices
ok.
ahora. O sea, tú imaginas que en ese entonces lo que tú imaginas va a ser así. La imaginación desaparece.
¿Propósito? ¿Hay propósito?
Ah,
Solamente darnos cuenta que somos, hay propósito, solamente darnos cuenta que somos
si la manifestación es espontánea,
como,
entonces no hay propósito.
ujú,
Y el propósito es darse cuenta que la manifestación es espontánea, que tú eres la conciencia donde se manifiesta la mente y que la mente y la conciencia no son dos entidades separadas, sino una y la misma cosa. Si hay un propósito, al menos para mí es ese. Ah, se me olvidó decir, porque es que se está acabando el tiempo, ¿ok?
mm,
Vamos a apagar la grabación porque ya se acabó y esto queda fuera de la grabación.